Gurdjieff came to the West with a message. He desired to transmit this message in different ways. Like a book, these sacred movements contain knowledge. In the same way that we read a book with our minds, the knowledge contained in these gestures can be perceived by the body. This message has more fidelity than the written word. This knowledge has been with humanity for a long time. The dancer tries to equal the level of perfection contained in the movement. The dancer can become a vehicle for the unconditioned world to manifest in the conditioned world.
If you go into questions like this, you could enter a door, and in the room behind that door, you would have to face the fact that you do not know.
If you have some seed in yourself, what you could call an eye, and this seed start to germinate very slowly, and these movements give the attention to it, give the nutrition, etc. It starts growing very slowly, but it grows, that's for sure.
The question is, you live the fact that you do not know. Your whole life is not knowing anything.
But Gurdjieff in my eyes was far greater. He had this personal guidance, you know. All these exercises he gave, all this personal guidance he gave, the movements he gave, etc., etc. You could say that he gave his life for the Western world, for spiritual development.
To be able to concentrate upon our own life and our own being, to see ourselves. Therefore you need a different kind of attention. And that's the kind of attention that we try to generate in movements classes.
I would first say that it will focus your attention and your concentration in a way as never before. I think it's very difficult to create a life situation in which you have to concentrate so strongly.
Which is one thing that Gurdjieff himself has repeated probably more than anything else, because a genius like his does not like repetition. But he has said this over and over again, that words are not enough, which is one of the reasons why he came up with entirely different areas like music or movements, to convey those things that cannot be conveyed in words.
Gurdjieff insisted on the fact that only the body could give you nearly all the answers. Contact in the body. The body has also to produce all these energies. I mean, you take your air in, but the body has to make the transformation of the substances. This is why the body is so important.
What the movement does to me is that as soon as I enter a movement, this does not happen always, but it is as if I put on a coat. I step into a coat that's already there. I don't do anything. The movement does it to me.
Is, for instance, people are asking themselves questions like, what is life, or what happens when I die, or why am I living anyways?
And this happens every now and then to the whole group. Suddenly it spreads in the whole group and the movement runs, it goes, it doesn't stop anymore.
And then I came across the movements and the music, and that spoke to me in an entirely different way.
These movements, these dances are constructed in such a way that you, as an individual human being, cannot control what's happening there. It's much too complicated. The dance is so complicated that if you want to do it by steering it from your normal head, you can't do it.
But at the moment it will be undeniable with almost any Gurdjieff movement that you cannot do them.
Each movement gives a different energy in the group. Even somebody from outside who enters the room can feel this energy.
And the reason that you cannot do them is not that these movements are so complex. It is simply that you do not have the energy that is here and now, connected with your body, connected with your mind. I do not even talk about feeling.
But you can't really learn it, you have to do it. You have to let go.
First you have to take it on trust. Try it, see what happens.
Well, it started by asking myself questions, like from a very early age, that I found it very peculiar that I am here. Why am I here?
And very quickly you come to the point where it's not that easily done.
But you have to let go, because these centers know what they do. They know what they do. And if you let go, it's as if you've done it all the time. It's as if it's a sort of a homecoming.
So you find you need to separate things. And very quickly your reactional side will start talking, saying, "What does the fool want of me?"
All other dance forms are usually an expression of your personality. The movements is the opposite. It goes straight to essence.
I can't do that.
I couldn't do anything. I didn't understand what was going on. And I saw other people who were very good at movements, and they had a concentration. Well, I couldn't possibly manage myself. I couldn't concentrate for 1 second.
He's in the way, she's in the way, she's doing it wrong. I'm doing it. No, I'm not doing it. You know, all of this starts happening.
It makes you aware of what you're doing. There's no room for non-awareness. It gives you a certain structure, and within that structure you have to be present.
And people get very upset and find they can't do it. Can't do a single thing. Very simple.
I tell them again and again, movements can be very valuable if you have an aim. If you want something to do with your life which is real, not something that you read in a book about being a good man or there's also something in yourself must decide upon something in life.
Put your arm out on one. Missed it again. Too late, too early. Not straight, not horizontal.
The gestures and positions, the movements as a whole, have a very particular link to deeper feelings.
And suddenly you become aware of these things. You start seeing them.
You know what I think it is? The movements have to be precise, but your mind has to be totally flexible and open while you're doing them. And that is damn difficult.
Live backwards.
What does that mean, live backwards?
It means that you don't want to die as a dog, so you put something in between, in place of it. You want to reach a certain state or be something or someone, and then your life will be leading to that point. So actually you are living backward.
When you do these movements exactly, it sets off a whole set of feelings in you that you don't even know where they come from, but they come from the movement, from the gesture itself.
Well, first of all, I hardly ever speak about it. That's because you can't explain what happens in these movements.
I am a fool.
I am a fool, yeah.
Well, I looked around. Oh, I'm not the only one. That's a relief.
I don't want you to get the impression that I felt great because I did the movements so well. No, Whether I do the movements well or not doesn't seem to have anything to do with it. Of course I try to do them as well as I can, but even when I know I'm mucked up again, you know, it doesn't affect the joy of having participated in this and being with this group. It's quite extraordinary.
When they want to know what I do with it, and I try to explain that these movements give you the opportunity to come to yourself, to discover yourself, to be with yourself, to find out what's in yourself, the I am.
And so I started looking for something that would help me further with those questions that were related to why am I here, what am I doing here?
Or you must be totally honest and say, I have nothing. But you must be clear in this aspect of having an aim. Either you must have the guts to say, I don't have any. I just live from day to day and I don't know why. Then you must be totally honest and say, that is my life. It has no aim. Not at least not an aim that I know of.
As opposed to dance, in the movements, you are offering yourself. You are offering really the core of yourself. And that is very moving to watch. A good dancer offers his technique, his everything, you know, but not the core of himself.
I think this was one of my most miraculous experiences. This deep stillness into yourself, that you can find this energy. It's not outside of you, but it's really inside of you. And if your mind is so quiet, then it happens. Really, the best part of everybody is coming up, and we all have a kind of function in the group. All the talents are used.
Because I can experience myself as that. And so far I experienced always new things with it. And I experience also my boundaries.
Because then, if you have an aim, the next thing that happens is that you will clearly observe yourself as being totally unworthy of this aim. In a way, it is ridiculous that you have this aim, because anything happens to you and you simply don't have the force to live up to your aim. On the contrary, you will see that yourself are the number one violator of your own aim.
And for me there's a stream inside which connects every living being and also the things which we think which are not alive.
It's work of yourself, working on yourself.
I think the whole movement's out there to remember yourself in the moment.
It makes everything so much richer. If you're baking bread on automatic pilot, you're not there. You're somewhere off in some nonsense. You're not there experiencing it, feeling it, and that goes for the most profound things we do to the most banal things we do. Most of us isn't in the act.
Maybe there are more moments during the day where I remember to have to be aware, you have to be there.